Hello, welcome to JWC Rant. Here's the thing. I don't like to talk about politics, but on this channel, I'm going to talk about politics because I believe in being moderate. I am a moderate left. I swing left a little bit, just slightly, but I'm a moderate about it. I don't swing like extreme left. And somebody, and I'm not going to mention names, posed the question, can you be too far left? Now, obviously, if you're too far right, Nazi Germany, concentration camps, white power, Nazis, it gets pretty ugly. Now, can you go too far left? I think you can. And I think when you start to invent rights, when you try to hitch your wagon to actual things that have existed in this country as far as human rights violations. I'm talking like slavery. I'm talking about big things that were very, very wrong and very unjust. When you try to hitch your wagon to that and start screaming for your individual rights, I think it's a little slippery slope. And so I think you can go too far left. I think going too far left is everybody demanding his or her own rights to the extreme point where if you don't call them the right thing, say the right thing, it's a criminal act. It's a human rights violation, if you will. Now, there are horrible things that this country has in its past, human right violations, entire classes of people that have been discriminated against for years. And discrimination is something that sadly will probably never go away. But if you're a moderate, the more moderate you are, the easier it is to overlook differences in opinion. I honestly believe that the right and left, the extremism or the radical right, the radical left, it's a pendulum. The further you go right, the further you go left. In other words, the further you are from a moderate, you're either one extreme or the other. An example of this is our last president, who I thought was a very good president, a very reasonable president. I didn't agree with every single thing he did because I'm a moderate. There's some things I strongly disagreed with, but all in all, I thought he was a very, very good face for this country and did a very professional and upstanding job. Okay, but he was a Democrat. Not only that, but he was an African American. Now, what that caused is it caused the pendulum to really come swinging back the other way, and then we saw what happened in the 2016, which in my opinion, there was garbage candidates. Nobody I think wants to be a leader. Nobody wants to lead. The job is like, it's an undesirable job, the president. Nobody's really gung-ho. There's just a lack of leadership. I think there was a lack of leadership with the candidates. I didn't find anybody. There was definitely people on the right that I was more excited about than some of the people on the left. But I like the utopian idea that Bernie had, but it's a little too far left. And it's going to be really, really hard not to alienate a lot of the country when you're that far left. The same can be said with like Reagan. Reagan, in my opinion, again, a lot of the policies I disagreed with, but he was an unbelievable leader. He really brought the country together. He was a Republican, but he was somewhat moderate. But now in the White House, we have Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump, he's not even a politician. He's like a reality show. It's all about me. Talk about a me type of person. Talk about a person who's kind of the white trash of politics. He's not holding the office to a professional standard that anybody can look at. Other countries or our own country can look at that and be like, this is really, a good face for America. I mean, he's still he's holding campaign rallies. You know, why? Why is he's the president? Why is he doing campaign rallies? Why is he just blustering at the mouth all the time? You know? And so I don't think he's a Republican at all. I don't think he's left or right. I think he's a little nuts. And that's the pendulum. The pendulum swung when the last administration left the White House. That pendulum swung. And what it swung to is it swung to Donald Trump. And so now we have a problem. And the problem is, again, it's not the policies, although that is a problem, but it goes beyond the policies. It goes beyond the decision making. It goes beyond the bluster. What the problem is Donald Trump, and a lot of people don't say this. Maybe a lot of people are afraid to say this. Maybe a lot of people are afraid to say this, but Donald Trump, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. He's not very smart. And he's definitely not very realistic. And he's definitely knows no concept of trying to bring people together. He is the exact opposite of the type of person that brings people together. He's the type of person that would walk into a room of 100 people and everybody's just kind of chit-chatting and kind of, you know, doing their own thing and everybody's getting along, and he'd hop up on the microphone and everybody in that room would start arguing with one another and eventually leave. Maybe there'd be some dessert platters being thrown around. I don't know where that came from, but it sure was an interesting statement. Anyway, what I'm getting at is I'm feeling just the left. The topic of this conversation is the left. What is going on with the left? Because right now I feel like the left is just annoying the shit out of me. Like I say, I'm a moderate, but I do lean left. I am an artistic. I'm all about everybody having rights. But the left is pushing the envelope, is pushing the envelope to the point of people are inventing identity and then inventing rights around that identity and then expecting everybody to adhere to those special rights. And then they're hitching their wagon to, like, you know, racism or you know, human rights violations of the past, you know, as intense as slavery. And you can't hitch your wagon to that, okay? Be an individual. We love you, okay? But as far as being one, you know, having the need to be called or addressed in a certain way, and if you don't address that person in that way, you're violating their human rights. I mean, this is crazy shit. And this is why the left is just like lost its mind. You know, it's like you look at the right, you look at Republicans, and they're willing to follow Trump right off the cliff. That's one thing. But what about the left? What's going on with the left? The left is like full of these just individualism, identity politics like crazy. Nobody's talking about issues that actually matter to the average American. Nobody on the left is really talking about that. They're talking about like extreme identity politics. They're talking about, they're gossiping, for Christ's sakes. They won't quit talking about, here's the thing, the Russian collusion thing, the right and the left both need to just leave it alone and let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. This goes for Trump too. Hey, Trump, you want to prove to me that everything's cool and you're not guilty of anything? Just chill the fuck out. Just chill out and let the thing close. Let the thing come to an end, you know? That's what everybody needs to do. But the way the left is hitching its wagon to this Stormy Daniels bullshit and this Russian collusion bullshit, it's all got to stop. It's all got to, you just the left is going to the extreme, to the point of people are demanding special privileges. Just so the question is, yes, you can go too far to the right. That's obvious. Nazi Germany. But can you go too far to the left? And the answer is yes, I think you can. If everybody considers themselves like such an individual that they need such a complex identity that every single person other than them needs to address or needs to adhere to those standards. In other words, you're the king, okay? That's going too far to the left. Going too far to the left is when you demand that everybody else treat you a certain way or with a certain frame, if you will, or your human rights or your rights are being violated, okay? Everybody needs to treat you, every single person except yourself needs to treat you in a certain way or your rights are being violated. That's too far to the left. And that's what I think about that. So anyway, coming to you from JWC Rant, the ultimate. Now the message here is moderate. We need moderates in this country. We need moderate leadership. We need moderates to come together. We need to get the hell off the outskirts of the extreme right and extreme left and come together as a country. All right, that ends my rant. Yes, you can go too far to the left. That is my opinion. All right, we'll see you guys later. JWC Rant. Be sure to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. We'll have more of these videos on the way.